TIFU by fixing my carbon monoxide alarm with YouTube Premium. So for the past few days, I've been hearing a beeping sound every now and then. And last night and the night before I was hearing it very often. To the point where I was getting a headache. This morning I go into the basement and find that my carbon monoxide alarm is beeping, and so I Google what's wrong with it. I discover that it's beeping every 60 seconds, which means that it's low on battery. I also watch some videos on YouTube just to make sure. So no big deal, I take the batteries out until I get some new ones later on in the day. However, once I go back upstairs I keep hearing the beeping. I go back and put my ear to the alarm and nothing is coming from it, but I can still hear a beep. I live in an apartment, so I thought maybe it was my upstairs neighbor, so I walk up into the attic to see if I can hear it. It's just as loud as it was in the basement. The same thing when I'm in my apartment. So I think it's coming from their apartment, but how do they not hear it? So I walk around for 30 minutes because everywhere I go it's just as loud as before, and it's starting to make me mad. I grab my phone and see that a YouTube video is playing. What happened was that I got YouTube Premium last week to test out the free trial, and I'm not used to videos playing when you shut off your phone or go to another app. The video explaining the alarm problem ended and it auto-played an hour-long video of a smoke alarm beeping. So because it was in my pocket, everywhere I went it sounded the same and beeped every 60 seconds. I was relieved it was over and was laughing at my own stupidity. TLDR. My carbon monoxide machine was beeping every 60 seconds. I took the batteries out but still heard the beep. YouTube Premium autoplayed an hour-long video of an alarm beep, and I walked around for 30 minutes trying to find out what was beeping as it was in my pocket. Felt stupid and laughed. Haha, funny. Moving to serious. Don't forget to put those batteries in. For your safety. I sincerely thought this was going to be auditory hallucinations from carbon monoxide poisoning in. The foo was the alarm actually going off, not batteries. The creator of that video would be very pleased. My wife had a similar annoying experience with my YouTube Premium a couple years ago. She was asleep in the passenger seat, and I was driving while listening to my Watch Later playlist with the screen off. It got to a video from Technical Connections about why old-timey car horns sound different. I thought it was pretty interesting. But what I didn't realize was that all of the various car horn honking noises in the video kept on waking up my wife. She was still like half asleep, so she didn't open her eyes or say anything at the time. But when we made it back home, she said she slept terribly and wanted to know what was happening on the road, that there was so much honking so late at night. She was not amused when I told her the road was perfectly pleasant and the honking was just what I'd chosen to listen to. I had a neighbor complain to the landlord that one of my smoke detectors was doing the low battery beep. My landlord called me to let me know. I wasn't home. Landlord said she was nice about it, but she worked nights and sleeping during the day was hard enough without even a faint constant beep. Completely understandable. So I get home and start checking. 2-floor townhouse with a basement. I can hear it right away. Check the first floor. Nope. Check upstairs. Can barely hear it upstairs, so probably the carbon monoxide detector in the basement. Go down and wait. Hear the beep, and while it's definitely louder, the beep isn't coming from mine. It was the detector in her own basement. I called the landlord. We had a good laugh. The neighbor stopped by to apologize. More laughter. Neither of our stories compare to the Redditor saves Redditors from carbon monoxide poisoning story though. Bahahahahahahaha. OMG, YouTube Premium can be the worst sometimes. I've had my phone randomly continue playing a video out of nowhere hours after I closed the app. And just the audio too. Luckily I remembered the video and had to open and close the app again. Wait, you live in an apartment with an attic and a basement? What the? I feel ya. I had a similar experience lol. Back in 4th grade, I held onto a friend's iPod, just casually sitting in class. All of a sudden, this blaring alarm sound goes off. Myself, the students and teacher all look around confused. The sound stops and we eventually resume back to what we were doing. A couple minutes goes by and the sound returns. My teacher assumed it was the school alarm and went to walk out the class but realized the sound was only inside the class and no one was leaving their classrooms for whatever reason. I pull out my friend's iPod and sure enough, the siren alarm was coming from her iPod. Teacher asked if I could turn off and at first I said I didn't know how and was about to hand it to her, until I saw her lock screen which displayed guns and money. I thought we'd get in trouble if they saw the lock screen, so I told her I knew how and turned it off. Or what I assumed I did, since it went off again in the middle of PE class. The majority of my classmates cleared up the coaches and other classes' confusion by turning to me with that knowing sigh and calling me out lol. This is too good LMFAO. Reminds me of the joke. I took the batteries out of my carbon monoxide alarm because the beeping was giving me a headache. You deserve it for getting YouTube Premium. Turn autoplay off now for your own sanity. Haha, you got me laughing up. I always assume the worst and was trying to figure out where this story was going but love the ending. Get those batteries replaced and remember to shut those videos off. I love it. This is my favorite story I've read in a while. This is actually a high-quality TIFU that is believable. Nice to see one on my page that isn't sexual in some way. Serious comment here. Do not replace batteries in company detectors. The CO sensor starts to fail over time, making them unreliable. Replace the whole detector with a new one, please. I've had personal friends die of CO poisoning. Do not underestimate the risk. Plot twist, the headache was from carbon monoxide. Wasn't YouTube, but I spent 15 minutes tracking down a smoke detector. No matter which one I stood under, it would come from somewhere else. Finally I got my wife and son and together we stood in different places and each pointed where they heard the beep coming from. After a few tries, we triangulated it to a desk. At which point my wife goes, "Oh, right. Since this new for us house has wired smoke detectors and that was an extra, I just threw it in there." When I asked why she didn't remove the battery first, she said something like, "It wasn't beeping at the time." Dude, I've been having the same problem. I keep locking my phone and putting it in my pocket, thinking the video will be paused. And thanks to YT Premium, I have random videos playing in my pocket. Super annoying when I'm on a call, and the video suddenly gets loud. I have to pull my phone out of my pocket, which makes the YT video sounds even clearer on the conference call. Wake the screen, and then pause the video. Pretty much the only time I want something to keep playing when my screen is off is when I'm listening to music. But there's a whole dedicated app for that. YouTube Music.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. EpicAircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.